Welcome to Legacy Sips and Tips podcast with your geeky host, Lindsay Wheeler, where we talk about everything from death, preparing for your future through estate planning, life, the occasional breakup, entrepreneurship, general nerdery, and of course travel, snowboard, and always wine. Welcome to Legacy Sips and Tips with your host, Lindsay, and today we're going to talk about my favorite topic is funding your trust. Freaking fund your trust. So what is funding your trust, as the joke is with my friend and I? What is funding the trust? What is a trust? What are some of these basic terms that maybe people don't really know about or hear me talking about and I'm like, what the hell is she talking about? Well, a trust is an entity that you create, that you transfer your assets to, ownership into the trust, if you will. I always say it's a big pirate chest. You have now built this pirate chest. That is your trust, right? When you open your pirate chest, there is nothing in there. You have not gone to islands, you have not pillaged and plundered, you have not put your assets into your pirate chest yet. You have just a very nice chest. So from there, you have what we call funding the trust. That is filling your pirate chest. So the reason for that is that it's now a separate entity from you, right? All your assets are now in that pirate chest, and the day that you're unable to, maybe due to incapacity, or you're not with us because you passed away, your person, your new manager or your successor trustee, if you will, can take your pirate chest, open it up, and then manage those assets within. That's kind of the analogy for what a trust is. So another term that you'll hear is trustee or successor trustee. So a trustee is you. You are your pirate chest manager, right? You're on your pirate ship, you've got your stuff, you've got your chest, and you're putting your assets into your trust as a trustor. So you're creating that, you're the one who built that chest. That's the trustor. And now you as the trustee are your initial manager of your assets in that pirate chest, okay? From there, if you're not able to, we have what we call a successor trustee. So that'll be your manager or your first mate who's going to now manage that pirate chest and all those assets. So those are kind of the terms. So the trustor is you who's built the pirate chest. The trustee is usually you as well. That's the initial manager of that pirate chest because it's your stuff. And then if you're not able to, your first mate comes in and now manages that pirate chest. That's our successor trustee. And the assets within there are our trust estate. All those assets in the pirate chest are our actual estate, all the things that you have. From there, who your first mate decides to give the pirate chest to, all the assets in there, all the coins, all the money, all the whatever it is, cars and stuff that are in your pirate chest, those are called your beneficiaries. Okay, that's your beneficiary who's going to get the stuff out of your pirate chest. So from there, again, you've done a good job. You have built that pirate chest, but again, it's empty. So we have to put all of our stuff into our pirate chest, right? Because we need to be able to manage it, and so does our person our first mate if we're not here. So that's what we call funding the trust. That is actually physically transferring those assets into the pirate chest, okay? And the trust name is what you're going to call your pirate chest. So maybe Smith Family Living Trust or ABC Trust or I Love Wine Trust, whatever it can be. Mine's my game handle because I'm a nerd. Whatever you're going to title your pirate chest is, that's what now those assets are going to be known as. So for example, the biggest one most of us have is a house. So we have property. Regardless of whether you have a mortgage on that house, you still own that house because you have title to it. You've just now encumbered it with that loan. So you can still put your house into your pirate chest, whether you have a mortgage on it or not. There's a federal litigation about that or case law that allows you to do that. So you will have to now physically give the ownership of that house to the pirate chest. So you go ahead and you create a new deed. Just like when you bought the house, you have a deed that transferred ownership from whoever you bought it from, whether that's a developer or a person that you bought it from, a bank if it's a foreclosure. It went to you, and now we have a paper trail of that you have now bought that house. And so now we're going to take you to your trust. Okay, so you're going to do a brand new deed, just like you're buying the house. Your pirate chest is now buying your house with no money, if you will. So you actually create a whole new deed, go down to the county recorder and have them record the new deed to your pirate chest. Okay, that's funding of your property. You can do that with your rentals. Usually we prefer you to have them in an LLC for liability, but you can put it any property deed transfer to the trust, physically creating a new deed and physically going down and recording it with the recorder, the county recorder. And then the next asset that we usually have most of is a bank account, right? We have a checking, we have a savings, maybe we have an investment account with our bank. Those as well need to actually be physically transferred to the pirate chest. So from there, we usually will do beneficiary designations. By having a beneficiary designation to the trust, now the trust at the end of the day when you're not here will be the manager of those assets. Or a lot of people like to have just specific people named as beneficiaries, and that will go outside the trust and outside of probate as well, because they're listed as a beneficiary, and once you pass away, they go to the bank with your death certificate, say you've passed away, bank verifies everything, goes great, they cut that person a check. So that is one way to avoid probate and outside of your trust if you wanted to, having that direct beneficiary. You can also close those accounts, open a brand new trust account, and manage all of your financial aspects of your banking from that trust account. That's a nice way to do it. Although it's very difficult these days because we have so much electronic garbage coming in and out of our accounts. It's not 1986 anymore. We just don't, get new checks and call it a day. So much electronic garbage going in and out that it makes that difficult. So again, people opt to have the trust listed as the designated beneficiary on those accounts. Again, when you pass away, your trustee, your first mate, will take that death certificate, go to the bank, they'll verify everything, and then cut a check to the estate through the trust, and then that trust account will be open, and then they'll manage everything from there, and that distribution that you have set forth in your estate plan will be followed. So that's the second one, physically transferring those assets. The third one is your safe deposit box, making sure that somebody can have access to that box, or the beneficiary on that is the trust, so your manager, your first mate, can get a hold of that. Because if you were incapacitated or have passed away and you don't have anybody else who has authority on that safe deposit box, and you put your important documents in there, that's a problem, because now they don't have the authority to get in there to get your important documents, such as your estate plan, and they might need court authorization to be able to get into that. Brokerage accounts, your investment accounts, your 401ks, your retirement accounts, if you will. Again, having that direct beneficiary designation as your trust, or an individual that is not a child, that's not a minor, or younger kids, because you give them a lot of money, we're getting Lamborghinis. So making sure that those, again, have that beneficiary designation as the trust. Typically, those investments cannot be titled into the trust. They just need to have the beneficiary designation as the trust. So again, always check in with your brokers, but again, physically transferring these assets. So you would actually go down to your bank, you'd go and talk to your broker, and you'd have your estate plan, and you'd say, hey, I have this estate plan. I have a nice pirate box that I need to now fill with my assets. I need to have the correct documents to physically transfer that ownership to the pirate chest. If that makes sense for you guys. Hopefully that's a good analogy. So what about your vehicles? There's schools of thought, two diverging schools of thought of yes, put them into your estate plan, and no, don't put them into your estate plan. You can have a transfer and death form usually with the DMV, but depending on the worth of these vehicles, I have done probates for vehicles because they have not been included in an estate plan. And once you pass away, of course, DMV is not going to just transfer your car to somebody. So they need to have that court authority through that probate process to authorize the transferring of the title to your vehicle. So I am of the school of thought that I like to have them titled into the trust, because I want to have my trustee have management and ability to take care of my vehicle for me if I'm not able to, because I'm either incapacitated or I'm no longer with us. So other schools of thought where people are like, well, what if I get in a car accident and I get sued? Well, welcome to America, and you're just going to get sued through your trust, because we do revocable living trust. There are other ways to avoid that litigation or that judgment, and those are different types of trusts that I don't handle with. I primarily just handle the revocable living trust through your estate plan. So these are important things for you to do to actually fund your pirate chest. You have to actually put the gold and the what have you into the pirate chest. Same thing with your crypto accounts, your digital assets or whatever, making sure that you have a legacy contact on those things, and having the ability for the beneficiary to be your trust to take care of those things for you as well. Crypto is a little bit interesting with that, but making sure with these brokerage houses who deal with your crypto have the ability to be able to have a beneficiary designation, or the login for those, if you will, or the keys if you have an external key for those. Don't lose those, as we all know with the guy who's still digging through the trash looking for the $50 million key that he just chucked because he didn't think it was going to be worth anything. So very important on that, making sure that those things are actually transferred and your successor will actually have the ability to take care of those things for you. So for today's wine talk, we're talking about a wine from Amador County. Again, is the Sierra Foothills. This is a La Donza 2019 from Amador County. It is a Rancho Victoria wine bottled by Perry Creek over there. This is a nice blend. Pretty easy drink. I always call this a Tuesday nighter. So if you want to have any more information about Tuesday nighters, I can give you a list of suggestions and also those special Friday nighters. But usually Tuesday, Wednesday drink, this would be great. Nice with Italian food. Easy peasy, nothing crazy with this wine. So wrapping up, estate planning can be difficult, but it doesn't need to be. How you make it easy is making sure that you've done the hard part, right? You've got the trust set up, the estate plan set up, you've built that pirate ship and that chest that you will. And now the hard part is actually physically funding the trust, actually physically transferring the assets. And I've hammered you guys on this because it's super important, because you just don't want to have an empty pirate chest, right? So if you pass away, your first mate and your loved ones are like, yes, they have a pirate chest. We don't have to handle all of this. We don't have to go through probate. They open up your chest and it's empty. They're going to be bummed. So making sure that you actually fill your pirate chest with your assets, funding the trust, transferring those assets, getting that done. And if you have questions on how to do that, or you get stuck on that, or don't understand how that works, let me know. I'm here to help you guys. You always find me at yourestateplan.online. And of course, when you think of death, think of me. Thank you for listening to this podcast. If you found value, please like, subscribe, and share. And be sure to follow me on all the socials at Sips and Tips with Lindsay. And of course, you can always go to my website, sipsandtipswithlindsay.com, to find more information about estate planning, business, snowboard, travel, and of course, wine. As always, we have to get the legal stuff out of the way. I went to law school, so you don't have to. However, we have to read the special disclaimer that I am not a practicing attorney. I am not your attorney. I am not offering any legal advice in any content or any episode. All content is for your information and educational purposes only. It is not a substitute for seeking your own legal advice from your own attorney or other professionals such as a CPA or financial advisor. I cannot give legal advice and do not offer any legal services or legal advice, but I do offer some fun and educational content for you to enjoy.